Welcome to another edition of Burrow Podcasts. I'm your host, Josh, and I'm joined today by Mark Rayner. Mark, I believe you just come back from the snow today.
Yeah, mate, went to take the kids down to have a little bit of it's my youngest first experience with the snow, mate, and I didn't do really anything, mate, because my toes and foot is still quite ordinary, but it was just fun to have a look at them, have some fun on the toboggans and build a snowman and all that sort of stuff, mate. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I take it she loved it down there, did she, Maddie?
Yeah, she did, mate. But we spent 7 hours in the car today, mate. So I'm ready to put the head down, and once I close the eyes, mate, I'll be gone skis. So yeah.
Oh, mate, we may get the first year get you fall asleep in the middle of the podcast. So.
Hey, first time for everything, brother.
Yeah. Oh, of course, we had the bye weekend this week, so it's a stress-free weekend for us South Sydney fans, wasn't it? Although you can never count on it being stress-free, can you?
Nah, mate, nah. There's a little bit that's transpired over the last couple of days, mate. That you know keeps the levels at a premium, mate. So yeah. We'll get into that, eh?
Yeah, we'll talk about those injuries later on. But last week for those that watched the podcast, we delved into the retention and recruitment side of things at South, and we had a lot of feedback on that, and we appreciate you guys watching at home. So thank you out there, and we do love your feedback. We do love the discussion that brought along. And we hope to hear more of that discussion from you guys. We want you guys asking us questions, and we'll get back to you in our podcast and all that. So appreciate you guys at home.
100%. Thank you very much, everybody.
Yeah, well, we did have the team come out. We got a game this Friday night against Penrith out at Combank Stadium. But the team that dropped, we got fullback Latrell Mitchell and captain, Alex Johnson and Tyrone Munro are the wingers, Isaiah Tass and Talis Duncan the centres, Jack White and Jamie Humphries are the halves, Junior Totola and Keon Kaloa-Matangi are their props. Saliva Havili is a starting hooker. Ewan Aiken, Jacob Host make up the back row with Jairo at lock. On the bench, you got Pete Mamazelos, Lachlan Hubner, Sean Kepi, Lewis Dodd. The extended bench, 18th man, you got Liam LeBlanc, Thomas Fletcher, Ryan Gray, Shaq Mitchell, and Amaron Gudgeon. It makes up the extended bench with Coach Wayne Bennett.
Yep, so you can pretty much scrap number 17 straight away, and LeBlanc will come in for Dodd. I'm almost certain.
I'm not so sure.
Yeah, he hasn't played him yet, so why would he start now?
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that because if you remember back in the Manly game, Liam came off with back spasms, so he may not be right. And I did see him in one of the on Bunny's TV. He put a video up and it had the rehab guys, and he was there running with the rehab guys, so he may not be available. But you've also got Shaq Mitchell on that extended bench who could come in.
Yeah, he could do. Look, that'd probably be the only possible scenario where I see Lewis Dodd playing, mate. Is if look, mate, like I said to you, we went out and watched the lower grades fellas run around at Parker Street up here in Penrith last week, and I got to say, mate, I wasn't greatly impressed with what I saw, to be perfectly honest. But I guess it's slim pickings now, mate. So we've just got to throw bodies into jerseys, and whoever gets the nod has to kind of do a job for us.
Well, you think you look at that the squad that we've named, and two of the guys, Ryan Gray and Amaron Gudgeon, aren't even in our development players or top 30. So it shows the injury crisis that we are having. The noticeable absentees from there, which we'll go into. But I want to talk about Talis Duncan being named at centre against Manly. I thought he was our best player. Let's not beat around the bush. He was our standout that day, and the lone shining light that day, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was, mate. And mate, he's just one of those blokes, mate, that you can put him just about anywhere in that 13. And he'll do the absolute 100% best of his ability. And yeah, he has been a shining light for us for pretty much all of this season, really. And you know what? I like it. I think he does a better job in the centres than what Aiken does. So I think Aiken definitely makes a better back row than he does a centre these days. So Yeah, it's a good positional switch for him. Makes more sense anyway.
Yeah, well, a couple of weeks ago when we seen that he was playing centre, we kind of questioned the old fella there in Wayne, but he showed that he still knows what he's doing because, and I do. I'm like you. I really like that he's stuck with Talis there in the centres. I know we'll miss Campbell Graham, but I've just felt that since those back spasms, Campbell's really struggling defensively, especially. And Talis defensively that game against Manly, he was spot on. He didn't shirk his duties. The problem was actually on the other side of the field there. And
Yeah.
you know, we've had a bit of trouble there with Campbell Graham and Ty Munro. So, but the other guy, Pete Mamazelis, comes back onto the bench. This is where I thought Wayne got it wrong a couple of weeks ago with selecting Ryan Gray ahead of Pete. But I personally would start with Pete over Saliva. He showed that he can play 80 minutes. I want to see him play longer minutes as well. He may not be the perfect hooker, but I really think Liver's starting to really struggle playing as a hooker. He's more a middle forward now.
Yeah, 100%. And you know that's where he ends up going anyway, doesn't he? When the other blokes are, I got another visitor.
Yeah.
That's when when the middle sort of tire. He brings Pete on, gives Havili a spell, and then Havili ultimately comes on for those middles when they do get a little bit of a break. So yeah, but I agree with you, mate. I think Mamazella should start and Havili should come off the bench and just play as a middle straight up.
Well, yeah, we got a regular appearance now for those listening on Spotify. Mark's Cats last week made an appearance, and again it made another appearance, jumping up on him. So
yeah, she's a limelight hog, mate. So she'll have her own YouTube channel shortly.
Probably take over from us.
Yeah, most probably. We're gibberins anyway, mate. So I wouldn't, that'd be okay. Wouldn't miss a beat.
No, not at all. Well, we're stuck with Jack White at 6, which I do. I like that. I think I'd like to see now that Latrell's at fullback how well that'll work. And I know we haven't added much creativity, but there was a sighting at Heffron yesterday, a former premiership winning half for the Dragons in Jamie Soward. I got a message from a friend who took a lot of photos at training and told me that Jamie Soward's down there. I said, sure, it was him. Yeah, he was in South gear. I go, okay, that sounds like a change in the coaching. So it'll be interesting to see having him. It looked like he was working with the halves there, so it'd be interesting to see if he can get something, especially out of Jamie Humphries, if he can get something better out of Jamie Humphries. And just want to see more creativity from Jamie and start now with Jack White in there, start owning the side.
Yeah, he was, mate. He was down there working with both the halves, but predominantly with Jamie. Obviously, Jamie's the more inexperienced out of the halves pairing that we've got there, with Jack having played a hell of a lot of football at 5'8" when he was at the Raiders. So yeah, he was spending a lot of time with Jamie, mate. And look, mate, at this stage, mate, I think any sort of help that we can get in terms of our halves and especially Jamie, would only benefit us in the long run, I think, buddy.
Yeah, well, speaking of help, Penrith are giving us a little bit of help by resting Isaiah Yeo and Nathan Cleary, which, I mean, even still without them, we've seen them a few weeks ago when they had all their Origin players missing up against the Warriors, and they absolutely belted them. So in no way is this like, all of a sudden this is going to be a definite win for us, but it certainly helps with the amount of players that we got out that probably gives us that faint little hope, whereas if they had been playing, we probably would have been going, oh no, not a chance at all. So you spoke about it, Wayne's spoken about it before, it's confidence. Confidence is a huge thing, and I really feel that Storm game did more damage than we give it credit for, where we played so well, got so close, scored more tries, but still lost the game. And I think that really dented the confidence of the boys.
Yeah, look, it's easy to sort of sit here and especially like, from a coaching perspective as well. Like, to say that shouldn't be an issue. You know what I mean? But as an ex-player as well, I know that those games do take a lot out of you, especially when you're on the wrong side of the scoreboard.
Especially mentally.
Yeah, mate. That's the key, mate. Mentally, and then that just saps you. So, yeah, I think, mate. If we had won that game, mate, who knows? Some things might have been a little bit different towards the last couple of games that we sort of been involved in. But yeah, I don't know. I can't put my finger on it, mate. I'd like to say that wouldn't have had any bearing, but that probably did, mate. So yeah, now we're sort of suffering the consequences of that 1 point loss.
Yeah, look, I mean, what we want this season's over as far as playing finals football. I know we talk mathematical, and I know the players still believe. It's just with all these injuries and that, it's a hard road for us. I can't see it. I'd love to be proven. We both would love to be proven wrong, but I think for myself, I just want to see the efforts there. Not giving up, keep fighting, show us that it gives us something for the rest of the season. Maybe give a few of the younger guys a bit of a crack. Once we're definitely out of it, start giving the younger guys a bit of a crack that we're talking about. Guys like Thomas Fletcher and that, but again, I don't know whether that's going to be useful for South because they aren't going to re-sign him. But there's players there that you think, okay, let's just see what they can do once the season's over for sure. But we do have our weekly segment with Cody's weekly stats, and hit it, Cody.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Cody's Weekly Stats. This week in round 20, we take on the Penrith Panthers at CommBank Stadium, kicking off at 8 p.m. This will be the first time we play the Panthers at CommBank Stadium as well. Our head-to-head against the Panthers as follows: 49 wins to the Rabbitohs, 47 to the Panthers, and there's one draw thrown in there as well. Like I said before, this will be our first time at CommBank Stadium versus the Panthers. We beat the Panthers back in round 4. 28 points to 18, cracking game that one. And should we beat the Panthers this week, this will be the first time since 2017 we will beat the Panthers twice in the regular season. We have not done that between 2018 and 2024. Panthers have won 12 of their last 15 games against the Rabbitohs, so we have a very poor record. We had the dominant record over the Panthers, and now it's switched around since they've been a fourth. In our last 5 games we've played against the Panthers, we've conceded an average points of 26 points against the Panthers, which includes a 42-12 thrashing a couple of years ago against the Panthers. Now, Gerald Sutton is the referee for this game. In 2 of the last 3 games that Sutton has refereed, we have won both of those games. Like I said before, first time we are playing at CommBank. Our biggest crowd against the Panthers was 50,035, and that was back in 2022 preliminary final, where we lost 32-12. We were up 12-0 and didn't score afterwards. We have won 6 of our last 7 games at CommBank Stadium, and last thing to say, go to Rabbitohs.
Thank you, Cody. Another good segment by the young fella. He's getting better at it each week. So
He does good.
But playing Penrith this week, we've played plenty of matches against them. We'll talk about memorable matches. Any that stand out for you?
For me, mate, I remember, I think Dad took me to, it was one of my first ever games, mate. I think the first ever game I went and watched was us against Newtown at Henson, and I think there was Penrith at Penrith. One of the games that sticks in my mind though, mate, is I can't remember exactly the year. You probably know it, mate. It's when Les Davidson clocked Peter Kelly in the scrum and knocked his head gear
Was that 89?
off. It could have been, mate. Yeah. Because I was sitting right down on the fence line at the footy stadium when that scrum packed, and then just saw Davo's ginormous fist just go whack, and then Kelly's headgear just popped straight off his
face. What about his face?
Mate, that was like, I heard that whack, man, and I was like, oh my God.
There was what was it? I remember, I don't know what year it was, but I was only a young kid, and And Dad took me out. I remember going out to Penrith, and we're on the hill, the old hill back there, and sitting on the hill, and I think we won, and we got home, and you know how they used to, on Nine, they used to do all the highlights of the games?
Yeah.
They're showing the highlights of the games, then they show a close-up of me on the hill just sitting by myself. A young kid sitting by himself. Dad was off getting a beer somewhere, which that's what our dads did. No way your dads would get away with it now, but that's what we did back then. They just go to the,
mate.
go to the bar and leave us there by ourselves or whatever.
Yeah.
That's how much it's times, what the difference were the times back then. So
yeah, no, that's exactly right, mate. Especially at footy, mate. You know what I mean? Because you knew everyone was just solid, mate. You know what I mean? So yeah, but times are definitely different now.
Yeah, but I remember times like there was a game in '99 where we're on the brink of talk of getting kicked out of the competition and that, but we were having a good run and we're pushing for finals footy, and we went out to Penrith and we ended up beating them 20-0. Guys, we had, like, I remember Wes Patton, it was a great try that he scored. I remember it was some kick or something, and we just ran all over him. And despite having two players, we had Mark Carroll and Paul McNicholas, the Huntsman. Shout out to you, Huntsman, mate, if you're watching out there. But
love the Huntsman.
We had them both put in the sin bin, and still we held them out. So it was... they're the sort of games that you do, they do stick in your mind. And Penrith, I think it was only one of the first times or second times that they'd been kept to zero. It was like a long time between drinks since they'd been kept to zero at Penrith. So
was that game before Tricky got the 7 weeks?
I think that was during, or no, it may have been, it may have been just before it, or may have been during it. I'm not sure there.
Do you remember if Wes was playing half or 5'8"?
He may have come off the bench that game, but he may have started. I forget. It's a bit like a long time ago.
It's a long time ago, brother. It's a lifetime ago.
Yeah, getting a bit older here. So, but then there was one, if you remember, in 2002, our first year back, we didn't get many wins that year, but we ended up winning 23-16, and Owen Craigie absolutely carved him up that day, scoring 2 tries, 3 goals, and a field goal.
And they had a good squad too, Panthers, because they were building for that, towards that title, mate. And
I think they were on the brink there of just changing, because I think it was 2003 that all of a sudden they brought guys in like Luke Lewis become regulars, Luke Rooney, a few others in 2003. And I remember in 2003, after a couple of rounds, they weren't doing too well after a couple of rounds, and they blew out to something like 100 to 1 to win the premiership. And then all of a sudden they just went on this run, and they didn't look back.
That was with Craigie Gower and Prittis and Nullavau and
Luke Prittis was the Clive Churchill medal that year. He won the Clive Churchill medal.
Tour. Yeah, mate.
But they had a great side, and we played them in 2004. We got smashed by them early in the season, but later in the season we played them at the SFS, and we ended up beating them 30 points to 6. And that was when Artie Katinas was coach. And remember, he beat the Storm and had a big win against Penrith, who was still a top 4 side at that stage. They were the minor premiers. Sorry, not the minor premiers. Sorry, the defending premiers then. So
yeah. King Arthur. What happened to King Arthur? What's he doing these days?
I'm friends with him on Facebook and that, so he's still around. He's giving his opinions out there. He's still loving the game of rugby league and all that. But it was good to see. I know he spent some time back at the Roosters there, so he kind of sits on both sides of the fence there, whether he comes to South or the Roosters. But no, a great man, Artie.
We should see if Big Artie wants to come on the podcast too one day, mate, and maybe next year or something. I'd love to get him on. I always had a lot of respect for Mr. Katinas, mate. So yeah, he's a really good guy.
Yeah, well, he turned that season around, because it was looking like that. There wasn't much to cheer about, but as soon as he took over, we got a couple of good wins there. So.
Oh, my God.
You remember the game in 2012 out at Penrith? It was round 2.
Yeah.
It was hot as, like, they ran out of water before half time at the ground. But it was such a hot day. And what was relevant about that game was it was, first of all, Andrew Everingham's debut,
Mhm.
and second of all, Madge moved GI to fullback.
Yeah.
Now,
Yep.
Andrew Everingham scored on his first touch. Within the first minute of that game, he scored on his first touch in the NRL. Because Penrith knocked on from the kickoff or something like that. So they knocked on early. We had the ball, we attacked, and the ball went out to the right, and Andrew Everingham went over untouched. So, but Greg Inglis trampling over Lachlan Coote.
Yeah. I bet you Cootie wasn't really appreciating GI being moved to fullback that day, mate, because that just opened that attack right up right there when he moved GI into that position, mate, and allowing Inglis to float on both sides of the field and to pretty much chime into the back line whenever he sort of saw fit. That was a dangerous move and the start of GI's tenure as a first grade fullback.
Yeah. Well, we go to 2014 and what a year that was for us, but it wasn't so much a memorable game in a sense, but there was a memorable moment in that game, and we ended up winning 18-2. And Nathan Merritt finally broke that long-standing record of Benny Waring. I remember it well. He was scored. We were down the north end, and he scored up in the south end in that corner on the right side there. Finally scores, and there he runs straight to the Aboriginal flag with a bunny on it and taps it. And then when he come down to where we were, because he stayed right in the corner there, come down the corner where we were, and it was just great to see. We had the big banner ready for him, but we had to wait until next week before he unveiled it. You remember working on that banner, don't you?
Yeah. Was that the one that we did at my joint in Lidcombe?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
that's right. Yeah.
Your joint. Then we went out to that park out the back of Barbwell Park or wherever in the middle of nowhere. Just so we could get it out and get it painted and that. But
but that's right.
Yeah, there was a lot of us that did a lot of work on that banner.
Yeah.
But Chris Stunis and Doug Barber, they're two guys that really drove that and did an awesome job in that. And they don't get much credit for that. And a lot of people don't know about what goes into making these sort of banners, but they went above and beyond, didn't they?
Yeah, they're good lads, mate. Yeah, they're good lads.
We'll go from one try scorer to another in 2017. 42 points to 14. AJ, 5 tries.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Did he do that from fullback?
No, he didn't. I don't think he played fullback that game.
Okay.
When Nathan Merritt scored the 5 tries, he was playing fullback against Parramatta, but AJ was on the wing that game.
He was okay.
He did play. Okay. He did play in 2017. He did play a fair bit of fullback that year, but his record at fullback is for scoring tries is very low compared to playing on the wing.
Oh, it definitely is. Yeah, definitely is. But yeah, that was a great game, mate. Mate, 5 tries in a professional game of rugby league, mate, is unheard of. And we've had 2 class players hit that feat, mate. And it was I was at that game, and it was magic, mate. It was great to see.
Well, AJ's done it twice. He did it against the Roosters, although one was absolutely gifted to him by Corey Allen.
That was awesome, man. That was so good, mate. When Corsa gave him that pass, mate, that was beautiful. Yeah.
But no, it's you talk about, like, no doubt there's a lot more in our history that scored 5 tries apart from those 2. I think we've got about 10 players that have done it. But in the modern game, it's certainly a feat. It's not very often. I mean, we saw him score the other week against Melbourne, scoring 4 tries. But the 2021 final game up in Townsville, 16-10, and that was just an incredible game of rugby league.
It was.
Penrith were throwing everything at us at the end, and Blake Taff, they just attacked him with those kicks or whatever, and he just kept standing up, didn't he? That game. Unfortunately, the grand final didn't go the same way that year, and we did get very close. So that's not really a memorable one. That's one that we'd rather forget. But it was also hard, that game in Townsville. Like, I was so excited that we won or whatever. I was here at my partner Patricia's place, and it was like she was in tears because we won. I was just so proud of the boys and that. But then you had this moment, we're not at the game.
Yeah.
And it hurt. That period hurt. And even the grand final, I suppose the one kind of silver lining there is how would we been then winning the premiership knowing we weren't there? I mean, I'd love the premiership anyway. It kind of that kind of solace you can take that, well, we weren't there anyway, so maybe it's not too bad. I don't know how you feel. I mean, we definitely want the premiership, but it did give us a bit of comfort that was all, or at least for myself.
Yeah, mate. I think my thoughts on that grand final was it was a cracking game, mate, and it could have quite easily fallen to us, mate. It was the two sides, mate, that deserved to be there were there, but I can't say that the team that won was the standout of the night, mate. You know what I mean? Because I think both of us, mate, were very, very even keel that night. And we both teams played their asses off.
Yeah, look, we were never in that game, in all honesty, because Nathan Cleary kicked us out of the game and he put us to where he wanted us. Yet somehow we got into that game.
Yeah, that's right.
Cody spoke about that intercept pass on Josh Mansell's podcast. I listened to it the other day, and honestly, for you Souths fans, should really give it a listen. It was a great listen in depth about all things with Cody and that. He speaks about different things about, even about his children, where his eldest son missed out on selection of the junior bunnies, but then made it the next year. And the messages that he sent out to his son saying, this is a good thing because this shows that you're not going to get favoritism because of who your father is. And he made some great points, but he spoke about that grand final, that pass, and he said he'd do the same thing. He'd do the same thing again because that's the player that makes him him. And
that's right.
He said the only thing, he goes, I probably should have double pumped to Gags. He goes, but every day of the week, I'll see a winger in like that. I'm gonna pass the ball. Just not expecting a 7-foot Stephen Crichton is the words that he used to be there. So it was an unbelievable play by Stephen Crichton as well. So
yeah, it was, mate. Yeah, and Critter is just one of those generational footballers, mate. I see him around the traps here in Penrith quite a bit, mate, and he's a specimen, that's for sure, mate. And mate, he's only 24 years old himself. And it feels like he's been around for 10 years already, you know what I mean? Like, he just incredible reader of the game, great captain for his club, mate, and just a wonderful human being too.
Yeah. Well, the last of the memorable games I want to go to is kind of when we were on top of the world, basically. We had it was 2023, 20 points to 18, and the 2 tries in the last few minutes to beat Penrith. Because if you remember earlier on that year, we scored late in the game. We made some sort of comeback, and we almost got them at the end. We made another break. I think Tass put the kick through, and he scored. And then there was another break there, and just went dead. And we tend to able to finish the game stronger than Penrith those couple of years, and that showed there where we pulled their pants down, and because it was first Latrell scored the try, and then Isaiah Tass scored the match winner through a Cody Walker break, and that, because we did make a break just before that, but the timing was just a little bit off, and but the second time we got it right and were able to score and win the game. So I just remember that feeling there. We're sitting in the crowd and just feeling like, oh yeah, no, it's just not our night. It's just not our night. And we're all like going, oh, maybe. And then all of a sudden, the crowd, it wasn't a huge amount there, but it just, the atmosphere just changed, didn't it?
Mate, incredible game. And mate, we had no right to win that football game, mate. But we just have that ability against Penrith somehow, mate, to cause them a little bit of grief in the dying minutes of a game. So, hey, you know what? Hopefully that's the same thing on Friday night too, mate. I'd take that.
Yeah, look, I mean, we did beat them early in the year. We're up 28-0 at halftime, but kind of. I think it was a case of two things happening. They replaced their halfback and they brought Schneider on because, of course, they had Cleary out for that game, and Penrith weren't travelling too well back then. They were really struggling at that stage, and they're on a roll now. They really are, and it's going to be a tough game for us, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%, mate. And that Schneider can play too, that lad. So we're going to have to 100% be on the ball. Everything's going to have to go right for us, mate, to be able to get this win on Friday night, I think, buddy.
Yeah, the guys are just going to have to start believing again, believing in their ability. Just make the moments count. The little things, get the little things right. The things that I love seeing, and you know when a team's on, you'll see there'll be a loose ball. No matter what, whether you did it or they did it, you'll be the one diving on the ball. And I find a lot of that's been lacking this year, those little 1%ers.
Yeah, that's right, mate. It's the 1% stuff.
I know the effort's there a lot. They're putting a lot of effort in, and probably earlier in the season they played above themselves. Maybe the season's a bit too long for some of them. I spoke about Lockie Hubner's kind of finding the length of the season probably a bit tougher, where he's not used to it. Tyrone Munro coming rushed straight back in because of our injury crisis, rather than having a few weeks in New South Wales Cup to get himself confidence back in or whatever. In attack, I've got no problem with Ty Munro. He's certainly making a lot of good runs out of our own end and not shirking his duty there. But defensively, I think he's getting a lot of the reads wrong. Doesn't help that his inside men are also struggling. But I just want to see a game where we, similar to what the Melbourne Storm game was, not so much a start, but where we're in there fighting. And if we're in there fighting, we give ourselves every chance.
Yep, that's all, mate. You know what? That's all we ask, mate. You know what I mean? Just have a crack. I mean, play the football. Talk is cheap. Like, I hear a lot of them. Joy came on this week and, said there's no reason why we can't do this, and well, can do it. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, you're all men. You're all good enough to play first grade in the NRL. So just get out there and do it.
Yeah. To be fair, they're there answering questions. So it's part of the parcel of the pantomime that is the NRL. So they get asked questions and they've got to answer it to the best of their ability. But you are right.
I'd just be like Wayne, mate. That sooner or later they'd stop going to me to ask me questions, mate, because they'd get fuck all out of me.
So you'd be Darius Boyd, would you?
Oh yeah. What? Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Whatever.
Or if, I don't know if you remember one of Isaac Luke's most earliest interviews. Poor guy. Wasn't used to public speaking or whatever. And he halfway through his interview, he goes, "Oh, I've got to go. Richo's calling me." That was up at Gosford.
I'd have the phone in the shorts, mate. Just, sorry, guys. Hang on. Yeah, what? Yeah. I know I've got to go. Sorry, lads. See ya.
We'll go on to the injuries, and it's like we get the bye weekend, and we come out of the bye weekend worse than when we went in. And I was told yesterday, a friend down at training, that Davey Moale's in a sling, and okay, that's no good. Then I get another message, and he's had wrist surgery. He's out for the season. Okay, that's not good, but it is what it is. Means we're going to see more of Sean Keppie, your favourite. But that happens. Then reports the same day yesterday come out. Cody's gone for the season. There's nothing official there. Cody was speaking to people at training today saying that that's not the case. He's not out for the season. He'll be a couple of weeks. And another bit of good news was Cam Murray was telling people that he's only a couple of weeks away. There was a video of him running at training, so there may be some truth to that. We may see him back in a couple of weeks, but every time we kind of get excited about players returning, something else goes wrong. And of course, Campbell Graham's not named today, and crickets from the club. We, as members, we're not getting told anything at all, and I voiced my disappointment in that on Twitter, and others have done the same. I've seen some people have responded to me and said their displeasure of it. It's not a good thing, and the club need to be better with their communication, especially when it comes to the injury of players.
Mate, I'm almost used to it from them now, mate. I'm dead set. Like, it's a shambles. It is a shambles, mate. Yeah, and mate, as paying members, right, and we pay, right, for I don't know why I can't remember I don't know what the Burrow membership's worth, mate, for a season. It's got to be close to a $600, right, $500, right. It's got to be, right? I pay about, for the 4 of my family members, I pay about $120 a month, mate. So you're looking at, well over $1,000 a year. Myself, the other, however many members, 28,000 members that we've got at the club this year or whatever it is, mate, we all pay, similar sort of cash, and we don't deserve to be treated like arseholes, mate. And I wish I could say that I'm surprised by that, mate, but I'm honestly not surprised that the fact that we're like little mushrooms, mate. We're kept in the dark and fed shit, and it's not good enough.
Look, if any of you guys in the club are watching, please hear what we're saying, because this is not just our opinions. This is the voices of what people are saying and what people are thinking out there. It's the little things that people do appreciate, and communication is key. Because another perfect example is Brandon Smith. We have not heard one bit of a word from the club about his injury outside of the diagnosis straight after the game that Wayne Bennett said 6 to 8 weeks. However, Brandon has been on the Buy Round podcast with James Graham, and he's given updates himself there. And he's come out, and the good news is it's not as bad as first thought. That he was possibly a chance of playing this week, but he came out yesterday, I believe, and said that he's been put on ice at the moment, so it may be a couple of weeks and then he'll be back. But this is the information we're getting elsewhere. We've seen reports about Cody Walker, and it may not be true, but we're not getting anything from the clubs. This is the sort of thing that we're relying on. I know Chaps and Brownie on Rabbitohs Radio, they get a lot of updates there. They share what they can and whatever. And I know they do ask questions of Wayne during, and also Mavo does as well in the press conference about injuries and that. But that's where we're getting it from, and they've really dropped the ball there, haven't they?
100%, mate. Mate, in December, I'll be a fully qualified strength and conditioning coach, mate. And I'm telling you now, like even stuff with brothers up here, like we have to give our chairman and our president reports on what's going on with our reserve grade, with our A grade, and obviously our Shield and our Massey and all that sort of stuff. We have to give them reports so they can then give that to the fans and family members. That just in a club like Brothers, right, in the Penrith District Junior League, yet a well-run NRL club, right, can't do the same for its members. It's diabolical, mate.
No, it's been, look, I don't know the reasoning behind it. I've heard different reasonings from different people within the club, but it really isn't good enough. And I know a lot of fans, a lot of people that I've spoken to are having the same issue with it. They're very frustrated by it. We just want to know, like, what's going on. Give us updates. Let us know. And that's
all we ask, mate. We're not asking for bloody hell, mate. We're not asking for the Da Vinci Code. You know what I mean? We're just asking to be friggin' kept in the loop with what's going on with our players, who we as fans and members, that we care about who wears that jersey. You know what I mean? Like, people might not agree, but I actually care about Sean Keppie, and I want Sean Keppie to be a good footballer, and I want him to reach the potential. I might bag the shit out of him because he's not reaching his potential, and I can see that there's potential in the lad. But we genuinely care about those players that wear our jersey, and we'd like to be kept in the loop once in a while with what's going on with them.
Well, look, I know they do updates every now and then, but it's very, like, it's just a small written article, whereas before we used to get a full video and in depth about where they are, where their progress is. And yeah, we may not, I understand that you've spoken about, say, someone like Cam Murray that we knew was out for a lengthy period or whatever. So we didn't need an update with him every week. Oh, this is where he is. But after a while, we can get a bit of an update from where Cam Murray is. And they did put out a video today which just showed him running, but apart from that, it's not really much information. And There's also guys like Hazen Mellors. I want to hear about him. I want to hear about Max McCarthy's progress in his recovery from the ACL.
Yeah.
Jerome Burns, who's on our books. We've heard absolutely nothing about Jerome Burns. All I know that he was injured last year and hasn't recovered, and he's on our books for next year as well. We'd like to know about these guys as well. What's happening with them?
100%, man. Where we used to get that when Eddie Farrell was at the club, mate. I remember Eddie used to come on just about weekly and give a little bit of a report on camera, to state what was happening. We don't need to know how many times they shit per day. We just want to know how they're going in their rehabilitation, what length of time they're looking at, simple things like that, and we'll be happy. So fix it.
Yeah, well, how do you see this game going this week? Is there a world that you can see us actually upsetting the Panthers?
There is, but like I said, mate, the everything has to go right out there for us to do that. If we play at our full potential, anything's possible. Like we said earlier, mate, it's a confidence thing. The boys believe that they're good footballers. They'll play like good footballers. I firmly believe that. I instill that into the teams out here. Mate, it's rugby league, mate. It's never ever been a complicated game. Just get in the grind and make your tackles, make your runs, complete your sets, get your kicks away, and see what happens.
I'd like to see it because I think it revolves all around Latrell Mitchell. He's our creative player out there, and it's a shame that Cody's not there because that would have helped as well. But Jack Whiten's there, and if he gets, he's just got to get early ball to Latrell in good position. And then you got on that left hand side, you're going to have. I don't know. I think they'll be interesting to see if they play Talis left or right. But if it is Talis on the left, like he was against Manly, I love his line running, and I can see a world where he could be used as a great decoy for AJ to go untouched. We may see him get a couple of tries this week, but Penrith are a very good defensive side. I know they've had their troubles earlier in the year, but forget about their early season form. That's not the same side. Although missing a few players does help a bit. We're missing more. And I remember early in the season when we did smash them, it was all the talk was the players that Penrith had out. They had like 2 or 3. We had about 7 or 8 players out. And they failed to talk about that, but we've certainly been on everyone's lips the last week and a bit. Buzz Rothfield and all the shows talking about the troubles at South, and what better way to shut them up than beating Penrith?
Yeah, 100%, mate. Just go out there, like we said earlier, mate. Go out there, give 100%. Do the 1% things, and you know you're going to end up on the right side of the scoreboard more often than not. It's just about doing the little things, mate. See how we go.
Yeah, well, we're talking about people getting out there and putting shit on the club and people within the club. A guy with a famous surname has made his presence felt again. Rod Churchill. I suggest that Rod, when drinking, he puts the phone down. He did it before where we called Latrell Mitchell a cancer. He sent that message to Nick Pappas, and the latest one is calling Blake Solly a maggot.
Well, my suggestion to Rod is stop getting on the disco sauce, mate, because you clearly don't make smart decisions when you're engaging in that sort of stuff. And you know, like I've got full respect to that surname, mate. Obviously, that's the little master was one of the greatest that we've ever had wearing our jersey. But I think certain people need to stay in their lane, mate, when it comes to making those sorts of comments, and Rod's no exception.
Look, I mean, he's obviously disappointed, and we all are. Doesn't mean the issues that he sees with the club are wrong, because a lot of people see it. A lot of people are questioning Mark Ellison. A lot of people are questioning Blake Solly. Some of it's right, some of it's wrong where the finger pointing is. I understand there is, but it's the way you go about it.
Yeah, 100%.
To try and use his platform for what his father did in the game, Clive did in the game and all that, you're using that surname and you're coming up like that. It's not the right way to go about it. And I'm giving him the new nickname of Brock Purdy for all the NFL fans out there that know. Brock Purdy was the last pick in the in the draft a few years ago, and he got the name Mr. Irrelevant. So there you go, Rod. Brock Purdy.
Stay in your lane, Rod.
Yeah.
You know, there's, mate, you know, Blake Solly came to mine and Lauren's wedding, mate. Blake Solly's a wonderful bloke, a great administrator. Yes, you know, has he got some things wrong? Absolutely. And I reckon he's probably the first one to probably put his hand up and say, yeah, he's made some mistakes along the way. And yeah, but to go and call that man who has, you know, steeled our club financially, without the backing of a leagues club, to refer to him as that is a disgrace and very disrespectful.
Yeah. Yeah, look, I've got a lot of time for Blake. Blake's been very, very happy to help us out in the Burrow each and every time. I just reached out to him when we had the event down at the beer shed before the game against the Tigers. Reached out to him, and he was only too happy to come there and speak to all our members and that. So, hey, Blake, we do appreciate the work that you do for us. I know it's a tough time for us all, but we hope we can get through this. And I mean, there are people asking for people's heads, and that's understandable. When you're losing, there is going to be a lot of finger pointing. I did see one guy wrote an article bagging Dave Ferner, and out of all the people you can point a finger at, you know, I think it's just ridiculous that people aren't doing any research, and it's just, it was on the Raw, so it's amateur hour type thing, but
Yeah.
you just look at it and you're making a fool of yourself that you've got no idea what you're talking about when you're pointing the finger at our junior development at someone like Dave Ferner, who's come into a huge mess and making waves with him and Brent Hill doing a magnificent job in limited resources as well, let me say, because we don't spend anywhere near as much as other clubs do on junior development, but we've seen it with our Harold Mats. We've seen it with our SG ball sides, both making the prelim finals.
Mm.
Yes, the Jersey Flag's struggling a bit, but we're seeing these SG ball guys moving up there. They had a good win on the weekend against Newcastle. So they're slowly getting that. And we'll see the benefits of the Jersey Flag side possibly next year. And the year after, we'll see they go into New South Wales Cup and eventually into first grade. So it's going to take a couple of years. But to point the finger at Dave Ferner is just wrong.
Clutching at straws there, mate, whoever that journo was.
I wasn't a journo. I was just an amateur just writing for the Raw. And you and I can do that and put an article up on the Raw.
the Raw journo.
Yeah.
That's outstanding work, mate. Yeah. Keep your opinions to yourself, knucklehead.
And in that same article, he's talking about our junior development and failed to even mention the Matthews side and the ball side. So it just shows it was a very biased article that didn't bring out the whole facts. And look, yeah, there are problems. And we spoke about it last week at length. And as I said earlier, there was a lot of great feedback about that. And it's probably the most interaction I've seen from people with our podcast since I've been taking over from podcasts. Even to myself when I shared it on Twitter, I had people messaging me, responding to it and telling me how much they loved it, tagging me in a post to say, I just listened to your podcast and it really resonated with me. They were very complimentary of you and in what you had to say as well. So I just love that sort of feedback. Any of you guys out there, please keep the feedback coming in. We like to hear from you guys. What do you guys think about the situation we're in? What do you think about the injuries, the lack of communication from the club? We know we're in a very tough situation at the moment, but we do want to hear your feedback as well and gather your thoughts.
Yeah, 100%. And we really appreciate that, guys. So thank you. And you know what? Any feedback, positive or negative, is still feedback, and can help us improve, can help us come up with some different things to throw around on the podcast as well. And yeah, we absolutely appreciate every single one of you who takes the time out of your day to listen to us two gibberers talk about the greatest club in the world, and yeah, we'll continue to do that. We love it. We've old boy over here and I have known each other for a long time now, so
Yeah,
we get each other, and yeah, we work quite well. So but this doesn't sort of happen without the support and viewership from you good folks out there. So yeah, let's keep
100%.
it up.
And you even got compliments last week calling you James Hetfield from Metallica, although now you've got the haircut, you kind of getting away from that. But shout out to you, Franny. We do appreciate you watching out there. So
I love you, old girl. Don't worry.
yeah, down there in Melbourne.
I've got the I've got the really short back and sides due now, mate. I was fighting a losing battle, so I figured
Kind
just
of
get
the
rid of
worst
it.
time to do it when you're going down to the snow. I hope you had a beanie on.
Absolutely, mate. I had my Rabbitohs boonie on nice and proud, mate, as well as my South Sydney puffer jacket. So they saw us coming, mate, with the Rabbitohs license plates and everything. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll be there this week at the game. We're going to be, I'm not sure the exact bay number, but we'll put that up on Facebook and Twitter and all that, or X or whatever they call it now. But all you need is a GA South ticket. We're going to aim to be the bay right next to the away supporters bay. Just the cost of the away supporters bay compared to one bay next to it that's a GA is something like $30 difference. And then the following week we're playing Cronulla at Gosford. Get up there, get behind the boys. We're in Bay 24. You can use, for those that have got memberships, season ticket holders for the Burrow, you can use your pass to get in. Everyone else, I don't know, so you have to check the club with that. But I do know that we can use our passes. But regular members, I think there was an email before you would have got to say that you need to get your ticket through Ticketek. I'm not 100% sure, so you need to check for that. Then the week after is the Broncos. We're in Bay 317, I believe. And again, we love going up there with the Southeast Queensland Rabbitohs. And we get to do it 2 weeks in a row at Gold Coast. You thought any more about heading to the Gold Coast, Mark?
Hey, we're a massive chance, brother. I'll just say that I never like to leave a Gold Coast game unattended, mate, because Cavill Avenue's just got too much of a lure for me.
Well, I've got Paddy's coming up with me for that one, so a rare one. She's done. She did the Brisbane one a couple of weeks ago when we played the Dolphins. A bit disappointing result, but she's able to do that, and she's going to be up there with me on the Gold Coast. Her and Michael, we're staying there at Surface, but yeah, if you need tickets for that to be with us, just make sure you get the GA away supporters bay. We're in there. We got plenty of the Southeast Queensland crew. The crew from Brisbane will be there with us, joining us, no doubt. And we always love catching up with those guys up there.
Legends.
Yes. Steve, Tanya, and all the crew up there. Shout out to you guys.
Lunatics.
They lead us astray, don't they?
Oh, mate, not that we need too much leading, brother, but yeah, they're a little bit naughty. That's good.
Yeah. Well, that about wraps us up. We do appreciate you guys watching and listening. We do want to hear your thoughts. Make sure if you haven't already, like and subscribe. Hopefully this week the boys can do us proud. All we're asking is for a try, to go out there and try hard and give it your all, because we'll be proud of you guys if that's what you can do. We know it's a tough time for the club, and hopefully we'll see some sort of changes happening that will lift the mood of the fans and all that. But any last thoughts, Mark?
Mr. Kepi, you're 6'5" and 125 kilos. Play like it, son. All right, you've got this, brother. Have a good game, boys.
Mate, I'm hoping you're praising him next week. That he comes out and you're praising him and saying that's more like it. So
yes, absolutely, mate. Absolutely.
I love your raw honesty. I really do, and this is what makes the podcast you know, I've had Michael on a few times. Michael does a great job, but yeah, you've just got this rawness of honesty that comes out that people do love. So, and I love sitting here listening to it. So,
Well, mate, it's you know, I enjoy our time together every week, mate, doing this, man, and you know, we'll finish the season off strong, mate, and then we'll rip into keep it going again next year, brother, because I can see us it'll grow, mate, and it'll get bigger, and yeah, and we can get some guests on as well, mate, to help us out and grow it that way too.
yeah, well, I've already had Joey Williams, former South Sydney player, reach out to me. He certainly wants to be on, and we'll have him on shortly. He'll sit here and he'll talk about the game and that with us, and it'll be great having a guy like Joey on here.
Yeah, love Joey, mate. Outstanding fella, and does wonderful things for the community. So looking forward to that.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm your host, Josh. I'm joined by Mark. Go the Rabbitohs.
Go the Rabbitohs.